What's going on, guys? Matt over here with Lethal Garage, and today is the official day of the GM revealed 2019 Camaro refresh, or what I'm going to call the 6.5 refresh, or whatever. So in 2019, GM is updating the Camaro. Not just the SS, not just the LT, but the LS, LT, and SS all get unique looks and design changes compared to the previous years. So 2016 to 2018 and 2019 to what I'm guessing will be 2022. But that being stated, the new car very much takes on the look of the Transformers Camaro. As I've mentioned in videos and on Instagrams before, dear GM, please don't make it look like the Transformers Camaro. They basically said, yeah, no, we don't care what you think. Lethal Garage, we're coming out with a Transformers looking Camaro. So that front fascia hidden in all the spy shots, yes, it is, what is going on? My phone's going off. Time to wake up. That front fascia in Transformers is basically what we're seeing in the refresh. Now, they're bringing lots of cool new things to the car, such as the SS. It is getting the 10-speed automatic option. Awesome, coming from Big Brother ZL1. Thank you for that, GM. They are coming with line lock, and it sounds like PDR options for all the vehicles, which is really cool, and a couple other features. But outside of that, they're adding a new add-on option for a rear view mirror camera setup. I don't know if it's going to look like the 5th gen one, which I always thought was kind of ghetto because the mirror was so tiny, or the screen on the mirror was so tiny. I don't know what it looks like. I haven't seen pictures, but outside of that, they are also bringing the 1LE package to the 2.0 turbo. Now, it sounds like it's basically the SS suspension and all the other bits, Brembos and all the other greatness that makes the 1LE a special car. So 1LE owners, you basically have a vehicle for all of them. Currently, there was an LT and SS and the ZL1 1LE. Now there's going to be the 2.0 turbo 1LE. And I think they're calling it the 2.0 1LE and not anything other than that, just to differentiate the i4 versus the V6, etc. So it doesn't look like there's any sort of power upgrades. If there is, they haven't revealed it. Same thing with the 10-speed. We don't know what kind of performance increase it's bringing to the table for the SS. Obviously, we know the numbers of the ZL1, and they're not changing the look or the design of the ZL1. The ZL1 will retain its same front end that it currently has, which I think is amazing, and the 1LE variant looks even better. Not a big fan of the dive planes, but whatever, to each their own. But outside of that, the tail end is the other side of the big upgrades. So they're going with a dual pocket style light. The LS, the LTs, and the RS will have a lighter shade, and the SS and the 1LEs and the ZL1s will have a darker shade lights. They look pretty cool. I like the way the tail lights look. I actually really like the way the rear end of the car looks. But the front end styling. So, yes. I don't know really what to say here. So, as you guys know, I've not been a fan of the Transformers look, and looking back, we've known what the refresh model has looked like, and it was almost the same thing with previous Transformer movies, but they've done some interesting things here. One, they've changed the way the hood vents. So as you guys know, in the current cars, there's two little side hood nostrils. Looks pretty cool, but then you jump forward to this car, and it kind of has a Corvette design theme. And I don't know if this is a Tom Peterson special or what, but it vents different. So it's a much bigger vent right over the motor. It probably is more functional than the ones that were in the initial models. But I will say I am not the biggest fan of it. Now, as far as the hood goes, I will say they went with a more defined line across the hood on both sides, kind of to define the cowl a little bit. Again, the car doesn't have a cowl like the 5th gen does where it's lifted up, but there is definitely a defined section down the center. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of not the refresh Mustang, but the 2015 to 17 Mustang in a way, to where the Mustangs are also obviously a lot wider, but kind of gives me that same little look. Now, the front grille, obviously the LEDs, they're in a pretty decent placement. They look nice. I really like the headlight. I like what they did with the headlights, even compared to the Transformers car. The Transformers cars very much had headlights like the current Camaro that's available, like the 18, 17, 16. But the new one, they carried over like the LED eyebrow line, and I think that looks really cool. I like the way that looks. They definitely opened up the grille. quite a bit. They moved the bow tie. This is one item I think is just, it's in an awkward place. I would never assume the bow tie would be sitting on the painted version of the bumper. And now we've seen the bumper now with nice black insert like on the SS, where the center portion of it's black with the bow tie in the center. And then we've seen fully painted on the LTs and the convertible in these photos. But I'm just, I'm not the biggest fan of the front end setup. Like I just didn't like it. Now, obviously, the Transformer version is very aggressive. You could see the outside edges have like bits and parts kind of built off, sticking out, but they didn't obviously follow that design. A little too much for a everyday consumer car, but it's definitely that front end. So, what do you guys think of it? I don't know. I am on the fence on it right now. I've been looking at it and trying to look at it at different angles. The only images that I've really loved were of the headlights, or where they get up close, like this photo right here. I really like the way it looks here. But as far as the full sweeping front grille, there's just a lot of, I don't know. I just wonder if it's because it looks so flat and there's not so much dimension to it. Maybe that's the reason why it kind of throws me off, versus the current bumper has like, it comes down and then it's angled and then down, and then the grill, it kind of, I don't know, maybe it's just, it might just be me. What do you guys think? Post down below in the comments. I'm at a loss for words. So the 2019 model, I'm sure the order banks and whatnot for them are going to open up in a couple months. But outside of that, we don't know performance specs yet or what has changed. I'm pretty certain with the 10-speed automatic, the SS becomes a faster car in some of the benchmarks it currently ran in, which again would allow it to retain or retake the throne in all the categories. As you guys know, the 2018 Mustang came out recently, and in some of the speed testing, the Mustang can beat the Camaro. But as far as all the other kind of testing, cornering, and all that stuff, the Camaro still beats it. So I think the 10-speed is going to push it just a little bit. Again, no new power upgrades. I'm not completely shocked by that, but I'm a little sad. I kind of hope the car would have had a little bit more power, but knowing that they didn't change the Corvette or do anything there tells me, or told me, that nothing was actually coming. So a little disappointed, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I will also state the interior not really changing much in there is a little bit of a disappointment. It still has a 7-inch screen and the 8-inch MyLink screen. They did say it has some upgraded software, but we don't know what, how, or why, basically how it looks. But it'll be interesting to see if they adapted the line lock system and some of the performance stuff from the Xeon 1 to the SS, how that all works. As you guys know, I added a line lock to my car for a couple $100. And it'll also be interesting on how they change the pricing. They didn't really touch on or go into details around the potential 3LT model. They didn't talk about a new motor. They basically really just launched the line, talked about the changes, talked about some of the few minor upgrades, but they really focused on the 2.0 Turbo 1LE. So it's really interesting that they did that. I think a Turbo 2.0 1LE is a very niche car. I think they just added it because they had a parts bin that allowed them to do it. It does cater to guys who autocross and go to the track and have a car that won't overheat, that has decent power. Because if you look at the 2.0 Turbo's numbers, even on an autocrosser track, it performs very well. And I think with upgraded suspension and stuff like that from GM, you can get a much more potent track car. Yes, it doesn't have all the power and the sound, but it will probably perform pretty well on the track and may bring some people into the picture to pick up the car. So it all depends on the price point on what they try to get for it. So that's it. That's all. Camaro Refresh has been revealed. I'll probably make more videos talking about specific things as I deep dive into the images. Obviously, I wasn't a part of any press or reveal or anything like that, so I'm looking from the outside in. The same information you guys are. It is interesting to see some of the design changes that GM did go with. Again, the Xeon 1 retains its front end. All the cars will have the new back end with the new lights. It'll be interesting to see what they truly do and offer performance-wise. So the other dangling thing in the room is no Z28. They didn't release a Z28, or at least talk about it. And that kind of brings up a couple different things. So as you guys could tell, I'm leaning more towards not really loving the new front end. But I have a feeling if they do come out with a Z28 variant, it's going to follow Big Brother's ZL1 kind of front end style. I could be wrong there, especially with maybe the heat extraction or extractor that's currently on the ZL1 hood. But if there is a car that comes, obviously it's not coming in this initial wave. It could come next year. They could announce it later down the road like they did with the Z28. Or they may not come out with it at all. And if that's true, if that is seriously true, GM is moving to the point where big motors and superchargers and all that kind of stuff, or just pure gas motors, is going to be a thing of the past. It's going to be. And if they don't come out with a Z28 or an upgraded ZL1 variant with maybe carbon ceramics or stuff like that, stripped down, super light car, because they don't make a track performance car that is specific for the track. They don't have a stripped down light car, or an NA car. But that being stated, if they do come out with one, if they don't come out with one, God, I'm losing my own train of thought. We're going to run into the problem of last generation Z28 LS7s. The value of those cars are going to skyrocket. And let me give you some reasoning there. The last all-motor LS7 7.0 monster that GM ever made as a Camaro. Yeah, that's a thing. And there's only like 1,500 of them out there or something like that. So that being stated, hold on to your Z. I actually want one. I want to get a 5th gen Z28. So if you're out there and have a 5th gen Z28 and you want to get rid of it at current market values, I'm interested, because a little bit of a tidbit of info. I don't think I'm going to be able to track the lethal Camaro the way it sits now. It's just going to cost way too much money to get it dialed in to be a track-specific car, and the cost of cooling and the weight will add to the car. Yeah, GM did it better. The ZL11LE is a better car. Yes, my car is faster than the drag strip and probably on the street, but as far as being a track monster that can run all day and night and not overheat, yeah, GM did a very good job with the ZL11LE, and my build cannot compete. Now, as far as power-wise, yeah, mine's a monster, and it's going to become a bigger monster. And I'm kind of glad the refresh model front end is not something I'm going to be desiring right this moment, because it may have sealed my plans on what the next car for the Lethal Garage is going to be. Now, I say that this car is going nowhere. The Lethal Camaro will always stay in the garage or be driven. It's a part of the Lethal Garage forever. It's never going to be sold. But whoa, camera, what are you doing? Sorry, new gimbal. Hi. Oh, come all the way over. There you go. But it would be a second car to add to the collection, and I would love for it to be a Camaro, honestly. And as much as I've teased and talked about getting a Mustang of some sort, I think it's going to be a Camaro. Could be a Z28. What if I do just bite the bit and get a ZL11LE and park it next to my car, and then just make the Lethal Camaro as it is a street romper / drag race car? Basically keep it straight legal, but just add more power, get roll cage and all that stuff. I know in my March video I talked about all the things that we were going to do, and the thing is we went down and started mapping everything out, and I started realizing the cost. I'm like, dude, I might as well just buy a second car. It just got to that point. So I'm going to have another update that goes into the specific details on why I'm going that route. But yeah, refresh Camaro, it's here, it's coming. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. If you enjoyed this conversational video and overview, please leave a comment below or hit that subscribe button. Likes, comments, shares are, again, appreciated. But until next time, guys, or the refresh runs out, hope to see you on the road.